Honestly, I might.
Wow. Wow. Here's the best part about that. I was going to surprise you guys. I literally took us live at that exact moment. Like,
no, you didn't.
No, we're live. We've been live for we've been live for about 20 seconds now.
Oh, there we go.
I see the professionalism on this podcast has really gone up since I left.
It has.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gone up a great deal since you left, Zach. Like a great deal. I'm just kidding. What are you drinking, buddy?
This is vodka madras.
Ooh, that's fancy. That's real fancy. By the way, everybody in chat, hello, welcome to yet another episode of SDGC. It is Thursday, June 10th, and E3 is upon us. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Today was Summer Games Fest. We got some Battlefield stuff to talk about. All kinds of E3 stuff to talk about this weekend. And yes, we will be streaming all of the major conferences. But first, I'm very excited about this. So for the first time in a long time, Matty and Zach are back on the podcast. And not just one, not just the other, but both of them at the same time. It's like I've got them both. We got them both right here. And for our new subscribers who weren't watching back in the days of Matty and Zach, they are two former cast members of SDGC, and they are now doing an incredibly cool podcast called Matchpoint that I've become a huge fan of. So first of all, Zach and Matty, guys, I am so fucking excited to have you on. This is so awesome. I feel so happy.
We're happy to be here.
You sound it.
It's palpable. We can tell.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here. I think this is my first time back since July last year when I did my last episode with y'all.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be back. And like it's super exciting to see a ton of familiar faces, but then also Brittany. I don't feel like
one new face.
Yeah.
One new face.
One new face, because CJ never comes around anymore.
Yeah, CJ doesn't come around anymore, but it's good to see all y'all again and be back hanging out. And it's cool to see. This is also a cool time for me to see Matty more. So it's good.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Oh, guys, this is so fucking wholesome already. Matty, dude, how have you been, man?
I've been pretty good. Just hanging out, doing some stuff.
So you haven't had the chance to do this since you had your last episode. So the next hour and a half, I want you to talk about Destiny 2.
Yeah, just for
launch
an
into
hour
it.
and a half straight.
Launch into it.
Zach tried to get me to talk about it on our Resident Evil Village spoiler cast, and I was like, "I don't get me going. This podcast will be another half hour long."
That was a fantastic episode of Matchpoint, by the way. And you know what? Speaking of Matchpoint, guys, like I said, we've got people in chat who aren't familiar with you two because they came after your time. What is Matchpoint? Sell the audience on Matchpoint. I can talk to all day till I'm blue in the face about why people should be paying attention to it, but nobody's going to do it better than you two.
Yeah, Matty, do you want me to take a swing at it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Matchpoint, Matty and I did SDGC for a long time, several years each. And one of the things we loved was talking about games that were really important to us that we thought were doing something interesting, and we liked being able to celebrate that. But one of the things that's hard is, for us personally with our lives, was to do that on a weekly basis became really tough. So one of the things we wanted to do was like we found ourselves having conversations offline about cool games that we're playing and like why it was cool. And so like let's just find a way to do podcasts celebrating the games that we like and try to take a unique spin on them and just produce podcasts when we want to. So ahead of Hitman 3's launch back in January, Matty and I replayed Hitman 1, 2, and 3. And instead of focusing on like gameplay, we decided to be really weird and just get really into the plot that is like in these like 2-minute cutscenes between really long missions. The stuff that everybody skips. We just were like, what if we took rigorous notes? Both.
So vigorous notes, I think. So rigorous is the word. I think vigorous is like you're writing really hard. Like you are just pressing the fucking pen into the paper.
There was
wow. Okay.
8 or 9 pages.
It was like 8 or 9. Yeah. So, but anyway, we started with Hitman and then took some time and then came back and did Resident Evil 7 and then Resident Evil 8. And then because we both are freaks that love E3, we're also going to try... the other thing about it is like we wanted to do an experimental format whenever we want to. So you'll see over the next week, we'll also release probably shorter but more frequent, like a couple episodes this week covering like the E3 conferences as well. So I know SDGC will be doing live streams. And then if you really want to get the moment by moment, you watch SDGC. And then if you want something to digest, you come over to Matchpoint Pod on Twitter, you subscribe, you leave us a review because we really need that, and then you hear the same thoughts twice from people who all share one collective brain cell.
No, so Zach, what I'm taking from this is for like, you know, your hamburger and French fries, like when you want your meal, you want to get through your meal. Join SDGC as we give that minute by minute commentary. But when you're ready for a nice cup of coffee, a nice rich dessert, like a like a chocolate mousse with some fresh strawberries, and you want to sit there and linger and enjoy it and enjoy the mouthfeel, you go to Matchpoint and you.
Yeah, we're the digestif of the video game.
I
industry.
like that. That's real good.
Yeah.
That's real good. That's fantastic.
When we can have a food podcast, because like we're edging it real hard. We're getting there.
Can we?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? We're doing what?
We're edging it real hard.
I'll quote you on that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we actually.
Do you see what I add to this podcast after you
A
left?
lot.
Absolutely.
As he takes a sip.
No, what was it, Brittany? What, a few weeks ago we made it 35 minutes into the podcast talking about food before we mentioned video games.
We talked about Taco Bell, like yeah.
No, that was a good fucking time. But no, dudes, guys, seriously, Matchpoint is one of my favorite new podcasts, and Zach and Matty are extremely talented. And I could not be prouder of you guys for what you've done over there. I think you guys have some of the freshest insight that I have heard. And I listened to the Resident Evil Village spoiler cast after I finished the game. And you guys are just doing great fucking stuff over there. Like congratulations to both of you. Please keep up the good work. And please, if you're in chat, go, what is it? At Matchpoint on Twitter, right?
Yeah, at Matchpoint Pod.
Matchpoint Pod on Twitter. Go follow them immediately on Twitter. I promise you it's worth your time. So normally this is the part where we go around the horn and we talk about what we've been playing. But I feel like we have so much to fucking talk about right now that we have a stacked podcast tonight. So we're going to skip that and we are going to launch. Brittany's happy about that. And we are going to launch right.
That you looked at me. You knew what you were doing. You said it and you were like, let me see what she's gonna do.
I'm just saying. So, so it's a big podcast tonight. We are going to talk about video games right off the bat. No food, no nothing. We're gonna kick right into video games, and we're gonna start, of course, with Weezer live at the Summer Game Fest today, which was the absolute highlight of my day. I don't know about you all, but the lasting image of Summer Game Fest that's going to stick with me is Jeff Keighley trying his hardest to hype up Weezer. But like this, ladies and gentlemen,
Jeff alone.
This is Weezer, and like it doesn't have the same effect when he's just saying it to an empty room and there's nobody to cheer. And I was just like, look, like Weezer was real popular when I was in high school in the mid 90s, but I don't know, man. Like, who's getting jacked up about Weezer? I don't know. And plus,
anyone that played Rock Band.
Plus, dude, Rivers Cuomo needs to do something about that mustache and that hair, man, because it ain't working for him. Like, I'm not a.
Hey, Weezer, not a good poll necessarily, but will be nice to Rivers Cuomo and Weezer, even though it didn't do anything for me. I think it's, I mean, I like one of the things that I like, seriously, one of the things I do like about Jeff Keighley is willing to just do shit that Jeff Keighley likes.
Yes, he is.
And that's like, that sounds like a drag. It's not a drag. Like, seriously, like Jeff Keighley is using his platform to like show really cool games, give spotlights to indie developers, some AAA stuff, some ad stuff, but also like just show shit that he likes. And so, the
whole Muppet thing every year at the Game Awards he does that for him, and he loves it.
I love it every year.
You know what? I'll let people indulge in that stuff sometimes. Like,
so
you know what?
Like, he's trying to have fun with it.
We even got the requisite Kojima.
We did, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna. I want to.
Seriously thought it was just gonna be a Zoom call, and that was gonna be it.
Oh my god, that would have been fucking amazing if it was just a Zoom call. But I want to bounce off something that Zach said. I'm chuckling about Weezer, but look, there are very few people in this industry who have done as much for this industry as Jeff Keighley has, right? Like, he makes enormous contributions, right? And one reason excuse me, that the games industry is now so visible is because of Jeff Keighley and people like him. So, you know, I mean, kudos to Jeff Keighley, like, absolutely 100%. You know, he does great stuff. I just, you know, I'm a cynical bastard. So, you know, I just, that's how I approach everything. True. No,
I mean, you can chuckle. I mean, you can believe that about Keighley, but you can also laugh at stuff like the Chick Hydro bot when they show up. Like, and like, those aren't mutually exclusive things.
So we can chuckle at Dorito Pope, but, you know, it doesn't stop what he's
done
doing.
Great fucking work. He's done great fucking work. So let's start this off with what was the first announcement we got at Games Fest today? I actually forgot.
Are we leading with the Games Fest stuff then?
Let's
John?
do Battlefield.
You want to do Battlefield first? Yeah, we can do Battlefield first.
It came out first.
No, that's true.
The trailer to the countdown to the teaser. The gameplay to be revealed.
Oh my
Sunday.
god, dude! The countdown to the countdown fucking killed me. Like,
after 6 weeks of leaks.
Oh my god! Like, you know, and
nobody
also
wanted that.
after since like February, the developers have been like really active in talking about how great the game is, and EA's like, oh yeah, it's ahead of schedule, and we're really confident in the game, and then an April Fool's joke saying the trailer was here, and it was a picture of a trailer, and this has been a long drawn out thing for the Battlefield reveal.
So, like, I saw a lot of talk on Twitter about, you know, the countdown to the countdown, and what was interesting was the very clear divide between content creators and PR individuals. Now, PR individuals were like, you know, look, you know, love it or hate it, this people are talking about the game, and you know, this is a good way to get people talking about your game online. Like, you know, look, all the discourse right now, all the conversation is about Battlefield. And I understand that, like, everything is marketing, right? Everything comes down to marketing. Marketing is so important in this industry, but at the same time, from the content creator side, it's like, okay, well, this screws up my whole fucking stream schedule, because I am assuming at, you know, X time, I'm going to be live reacting to a Battlefield trailer, and I'm live now. I've got my chat full, and oh wait, never mind, I've got another hour to wait. So now I've got to fill an hour. And
it's like PS5 queues.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so, like, you know, like, I get both sides of the argument here. But I find myself, you know, I'm a content creator, so I find myself in the camp of, if you say that you're going to start a stream at this time.
Sorry, John, real quick. I thought you were a journalist.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm a man of many hats.
That's what the internet tells me.
The internet, yeah, like, absolutely.
The killer of video games.
I had to actually put that shit in my Twitter profile. Like, not a journalist. I'm not a fucking journalist. Stop saying that I'm one. But I don't know. Do you guys have a different opinion? Like at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, but from a content creator standpoint, I can absolutely see the annoyance of, well, fuck, now I've got an hour of a timer that I've got to fill, and I've got 10,000 people in my chat.
I mean, I
don't know. I don't think like the marketing team know anything to the like.
Yeah, and honestly, I think most people that were streaming the Battlefield reveal had already been filled in by DICE about Battlefield. Like, most of the people that have been talking about it are people that have been streaming Battlefield for a long time and have been invited by DICE to see the game before, like, this embargo and stuff was up. So, like, I don't know. Like, at least it was only an hour. Like, sometimes they pull that shit and it's like, oh yeah, we'll see you in 12 hours.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, like, talking about, you know, the game itself, within the first few seconds of the reveal, I thought this was gonna be like Bad Company 3. I thought we were finally gonna get, because I mean, I don't really care about Battlefield as a franchise, but I did love Battlefield Bad Company. And this is Battlefield, this is just like Battlefield 6, right? Like, this is just the next
2042.
2042, that's what it's called. Okay. But we're moving away from period pieces, and we are getting to a much more modern setting. We got wingsuits.
This is, like, my understanding, John, via Battlefield lore is that this is technically going to be considered from a lore perspective, a sequel to Battlefield 4, which launched with PS4 and Xbox One back in 2013. So, like, in a lot of ways, I understand the Battlefield fatigue, but I think to a lot of people this is significant because this is the first time in a console generation we've seen, unless you count Hardline, which is kind of iffy in terms of, like, if it's a, it's a weird cops versus robbers
I remember that.
It's weird. Militarizing the police and making it a game. Who would have thought? But seriously, like, it's the first time I'm taking a modern swing at like a shooter. I think that's significant. And that does make it somewhat similar to Bad Company, I guess. I guess, like, what I'm curious about how y'all feel is, like, okay, like, annoying countdown aside, that is annoying. Like, how did y'all feel about the gameplay? Like, I felt like one of the things that was cool about this trailer was, like, they showed a lot of stuff that, like, are part of, like, viral Battlefield things forever, right? Like a guy jumping out of a plane, shooting someone with a bazooka, and then getting back in his plane before it crashes is, like, a classic Battlefield thing. But, like, trailer content wise, how did y'all feel?
It was, for me, it was very Just Cause. like that. Yeah. That trailer had serious.
Until someone, like, when they leaked the screenshot of the wingsuit, I thought it was a new Just Cause game.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
There's a fucking tornado and someone's flying in a wingsuit. That's Just Cause.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
It's hard to talk about gameplay though, because all we can do is extrapolate what gameplay might be based on that in-engine trailer. And
Fair.
I mean, luckily we only have to wait till Sunday.
There was a lot of details that came out, like, through influencers and press that saw the game and stuff. But I mean, I personally really liked that trailer because it showed exactly what I like from Battlefield, and it didn't have, like, this whole like especially in Battlefield 1 and 5, the last two were 1 and 5. They're, like, talking about, like, authenticity and, like, solemn reflections on the world wars and stuff, and, like, Battlefield to me has never been about that. It's been basically a kid taking army toys and smacking them against each other, and then, like, and then this building comes down.
I mean,
and then he jumps off the ATV and it hits the and then it hits the helicopter off the roof and stuff like that. And so, like, it was fun to see this trailer lean into that sort of thing, because I think also just, like, the Battlefield community has been in bad shape for the past several years. And, like, it was just leaning into, like, hey guys, we hear you. We're leaning into what makes Battlefield.
So we've actually had Justin,
and also with a near future.
No.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought. But we got a question in chat after you're done.
Okay, and, like, the near future setting also allows them to put in a lot of the modern tools that have worked really well in, vehicle versus infantry play and, destruction and stuff, as well as, like, going crazy with, like, prototypes and throwing in some new stuff and things like that. So I was excited by that stuff in the trailer.
So we've actually got a question from our friend Donnie in chat. Donnie, what's up, bud? Donnie wants to know, he wants to have the podcast give their opinions on the special operators you can have in squads with names, voices, and unique abilities, because that goes against the entire spirit of Battlefield to me. Now, I am not a huge Battlefield guy per se, so I'm going to leave this to somebody else on the podcast who's more knowledgeable.
So, not me.
Zach?
Make Matty talk about it.
Matty?
Okay, yeah.
Please.
Zach and I were talking about this, actually, and it's just, like, kind of because there was talk from people who were leaking stuff that this was going to be a thing, but it sounded more like it was focused on, like tech in their loadouts rather than, like, being named characters with faces and backstories. Like, they have one of the characters is, like, her backstory is, like, she's tracking down her son who had been kidnapped by the Russians or something. It's just, like, a very bizarre thing to do when you're going to have 128 of these, like, named specific characters running around. Like, Battlefield feels like it's more about, like, the scale of the conflict and the kind of, like,
that's what I always thought too,
the amount of people involved, rather than, like, let's dive deep on the specific people involved. It's a very strange choice. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Go ahead.
I think it's just kind of an attempt to be able to capitalize on like monetization and stuff more than anything, because somebody that saw the game in action said it's really more just like an easier way to organize. Like if you were switching your, like we've always had the ability to switch our kits and gadgets up mid round in Battlefield. Like we can always do that, but like the UI has been bad. And he's like, yeah, it's just like a menu that opens up and then you choose a specialist that has the gadget you want. Any specialist can use the weapons. So it just kind of gameplay wise makes it just a faster way to switch between gadget kits.
So it's not.
But like,
so it's
I
not
think
that
the whole
deep.
like
It's not that deep then, right?
No, it's just like basically it's just like they have some slight they each have like a small perk that gives them some slight bonuses, and then a gadget, which is like pretty much in line with a lot of the class customization.
So one of the like
I don't know, it's weird. I'm pretty sure it's just a thing for monetization.
Yeah. So like one of the comparisons I want to make really quickly is like so for people who maybe, I know that Donnie asked this question and they're a big fan of Battlefield, and I actually kind of align with their opinion here. But one of the things that Battlefield's always been about is like there's 4 classes that you pick from, like just to go really high level. There's like Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. They might have changed those names a little bit, but they basically have 4 separate ways that they interact with the battlefield and make an impact and help the squads and then ultimately help the team. And so by going from the specialist model, they're dropping those 4 archetypes and going for these like 10 separate classes at launch that are all based on like a person's name. And so what I feel like we're doing is
they are organized into like Assault, Recon. I think they're organized into the 4 classes. They're just like subclasses for the specialist.
Sure, and like just to be brief, like I feel like we're actually pivoting from like what I would consider like a traditional Battlefield structure to something more akin to Titanfall 2, where you're actually changing like you would pick a character. Like if you wanted somebody who had a grapple or a sonar kit, like you would swap and it would actually change like your model. It's weird. Like it's a weird mix of Titanfall 2's character class like name specializations with like the abilities they can have. It's interesting. Jeff, did you have something you wanted to say about Battlefield? I know you've played a little bit of it, or I'm sorry, like historically, I've played
a lot. I got
Yeah.
a huge. That's like I only play a couple multiplayer games. It's like Counter-Strike, Siege, and Battlefield, and so I played every mainline Battlefield except Battlefield 2. And I don't know, like even though it wasn't a gameplay trailer, I just felt like there was a vibe to it and a message, and that was kind of like you said, like between them putting in, recreating things that the community has actually done in games and stuff like that. It felt like they're going back to the roots of Battlefield. I agree with a lot of what Justin said. Like, I've never touched a Battlefield campaign. I've never played a second of them. That's not why I buy the games. But some of the recent ones, they've tried to make it a little bit more serious, and it's like, no, like Battlefield is just an arcade game. It's like, what's the craziest shit you can do with a vehicle? Like, I remember you just trying to land in 1942, trying to land a plane on just the tiniest little space of land to pick up one squad mate, and it's like it should not have worked, but it did. So I appreciate that they're going back to that, and I think there's a lot of just cool hints to I actually prefer the period Battlefield. I mean I just in general I prefer World War I and II shooters over modern, and that's I know I'm like in the minority at this point because we had 1,000 of them for in the 2000s. But in Battlefield specifically, the problem I had with 3 and 4. Okay, one thing I didn't like is, sorry, I'm gonna be quick here.
No, take your time.
I hated how they changed planes where you just spawn in the air. I loved the thrill in the old Battlefield games of running up to a plane on the ground and trying to take off. And at some point that just went away. So I hope they bring that back. But my main issue, especially with planes, the maps in Battlefield have always felt too small in the modern games because the speed of the game is faster. So like flying a jet, I always felt like I was constantly hitting the edge of the map and having to circle. I was basically doing like circles the whole time rather than actually be able to fly around. And that's just a limitation of the tech. So I'm really excited with the large maps and the faster planes to see like, hey, can I actually fly for a minute without like getting told to turn back or don't leave the combat zone? I think that's really exciting. So I'm excited to see what next gen does for the series in that regard.
I've actually got a question for you guys. In regards to Battlefield. But before I ask that, real quick, just a quick shout out to Mike Laidlaw in chat. Mike, it's been a while, man. Nice to see you, bud. Stay a while. My question was this. So Battlefield 2042 has no campaign, right? There's no campaign. Like there's going to be a narrative in the game, but there's no actual campaign. is this going to matter to the Battlefield base? Is this gonna?
No.
Is this gonna? No,
Nope.
they're not gonna give a
No.
shit about this.
It'll matter to me.
It's a positive.
Really?
Like, it's literally a positive for anybody
Wait.
looking forward to Battlefield. Every single Battlefield campaign
Unless
has
you
been
count the bad company ones.
Like, and just take... Which were only enjoyable because of the writing, not the actual gameplay.
Especially
Um,
because 5
like-
launched very thin, and a lot of people felt it wasn't complete. So I think taking those resources that would have been put into a campaign and going all in to create a really meaty, robust multiplayer, I think it's a smart move.
And that is the right call.
They've-
But just me personally,
Yeah.
as a person
Mhm.
that only plays shooters for the campaign because I just greatly dislike competitive multiplayer, it makes me sad.
I mean, this still is a
Because
narrative.
I
though,
love the-
Finn.
It's not the same. I don't want to
Yeah,
have to play
yeah.
against 64 on 64 to experience a narrative. I don't know. It's just that's me, and I know I am literally in the most minor of minorities when it comes to that opinion. But I really love first-person shooter campaigns because I love the gameplay of these games. I just don't want to be playing Noob Sniper 69 and not enjoy myself. I just want to.
Are you
Well,
telling
you
me
can
versus
play
the
with
AI.
bots, and they have the full progression and stuff for this, which I think is actually a very nice thing for people that aren't as familiar with competitive games, because you can still play it, you can still, upgrade, customize your character and stuff,
Finn,
but
are
you
you-
don't have to worry about online and bot support
Finn,
for
are
a
you-
lot of
Finn, are you-
multiplayer
Finn,
games.
Finn, are
Something
you-
that's kind of rare.
Finn, are you telling me that you don't want to have to deal with anime tit lover 420? Like,
I mean, not any more than normal.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about still, so we'll move on quickly. I think Maddie had one more thing he
Yeah,
wanted
Maddie,
to
please, go
say
ahead.
before we
Yeah,
we'll
I
move
think,
on from Battlefield.
just in general, like I have been kind of burned by the last 2 Battlefield games. Like, could not get into them. Even 4, like 4 had all those launch issues, and then I could never get into it after that. But this one looks pretty exciting to me, mostly because it seems like they're like in 3 and 4 they knew they had like the Battlefield moment thing, and they used it in marketing, but it didn't feel like they designed around it. Whereas here, like based on this trailer, it feels like they're building systems to create those moments, like the weather and like vehicle. Assuming that trailer is accurate, like vehicle interactions seem like there's more possibility space there. And then kind of, I think someone brought it up. I don't remember who. With regards to the campaign, I don't give a shit if that there's no campaign, mostly because it's been a huge resource dump probably for them for 4 or 5 games now, and people always are like, yeah, this is really like middling to bad. And I also saw a lot of people saying like, oh, there's only 7 maps. That's weird. These maps sound like they're like huge, like multiple maps in one. And
There are
like,
128 players. Like,
Yeah.
that isn't the same as like a Call of Duty game
that's like battle royale
or
size
something shipping
maps.
with 7 maps.
Yeah. So it feels like
yeah,
they're
that's like
building,
7
a big
Warzone maps.
canvas. Yeah, it feels like they're building like a big canvas with a lot of possibility space that is kind of going to stretch further than when they used to do, oh, we'll do a campaign, we'll have a weird co-op mode, and we'll have multiple multiplayer modes with like maps that are exclusive to each of them. So this feels just like a better use of their resources just at like first blush. I hope it works out.
And I know we want to move on,
Well-
but just like what? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Justin.
Just kind of building on that, like with the value proposition thing, though, I do think there is a bit of a question when it comes to the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game, in terms of map count, since those do not support 128 players. They are 64 players, so they're going to have smaller, reworked versions of the maps. And I think, paying full price for those versions, especially since we don't know how those will perform or whatever, like I think that is probably more of a concern. But like if you're on PS5, Xbox Series, or PC, I think what they're offering is a good value. But I do think there is a decent question for people that are on
It's
older
$10
systems
less
trying
on the
to
old
get into this
systems.
game.
So that's something at least.
I guess, yeah.
all right, so
So Zach, what were you saying?
Just to be really quick, I also want to add just like one of the things they've also made a point to emphasize early on was that what they've shown so far, or what they've been talking about so far, is focusing on core Battlefield game modes, which is like your conquest, your breakthrough, that sort of thing. But they also say they have two more large scale parts of their offering that aren't just traditional modes. They're like actually like different branches. Like they're not battle royales, but in the same way that Warzone and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War are separate multiplayer entities, they're talking about they're having other things, and one of the things they've kind of hyped up is like a squad based higher stakes mode, which some people are theorizing may be a take on like the Escape from Tarkov formula, which I don't think we'll quite hear more about that for a few more months, but it does sound like it's not just the core multiplayer and that's what you're getting for $70. It seems like they're going to have other pillars within that Battlefield experience that seems like they'll try to add to the value. Anyway, I'm curious to see more. It looked like a cool first showing, and gameplay is just 2 days away at the Xbox conference, right?
Do you think we're gonna get like a traditional E3 look at a match, or do you think they're gonna do a live match like they've done that? I think they did for Battlefield 1.
I don't know.
I just want to get.
I think it depends on where it's shown.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, it's not confirmed, but it seems likely that with the trailer being on Sunday and EA not having an event on Sunday, that it would be at the Xbox conference, and I think that would be kind of a hard thing to do at Xbox. But I think it'll probably be like a choreographed gameplay trailer. DICE likes to do those.
So, like Jeff said, we do need to move on because we've got quite a bit to cover. And we are going to launch right into the Summer Games Fest, which kicked off today, hosted by Jeff Keighley. Quite a few announcements to go over, and we'll start off real quick with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I think was the first game that was announced today. And it's of course, it's a looter shooter, because it's a Gearbox game. And apparently this is based on. So Tiny Tina is essentially leading a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Do I have that right?
There was a
There was a
DLC.
previous DLC. Oh, go ahead, Manny.
There was a DLC in Borderlands 2 that was like basically
right.
She was running a D&D campaign using her friends as characters in it, and ultimately it was like about her dealing with her grief over what had happened in Borderlands 2. So I don't know if they're like gonna carry on that, or if they're just like taking the concept and putting it in this game.
I got the sense that they're taking the concept because there's a character creator, which we normally don't have in Gearbox looter shooters. And they were also very, very, very clear about the fact that this is not a Borderlands game. Like, yes, Tiny Tina is a character in the game, but this is very much not a Borderlands game. But it's still a looter shooter. Okay, like I feel like there are so many looter shooters. I mean, there's a fucking Avengers looter shooter now. Zach, go ahead.
No, I guess I just want to ask y'all, and so I had this muted and was in a work call for the beginning of Keely's thing today. I saw a lot of celebrity names, and I saw the intro. How is it both a Borderlands game and a looter shooter, and then it's not a? Do you know what I'm saying? Like visually, it looks like a Borderlands game, then it plays as a looter shooter. So like, what makes that not a traditional Borderlands game?
It's a spin-off.
It's gonna be
probably
DLC,
trying
right?
to.
Brittany.
No, it's like its own.
Is it gonna be its own game?
Yeah, it's its own game. Like
Wow.
it's its own thing. And I get the sense that this is set in a very much a medieval setting as opposed to like a post-apocalyptic wasteland with a bunch of guns.
So what's going to end up happening if it's anything like the DLC is you're not going to be playing Borderlands, you're going to be playing characters who are playing a D&D campaign. So like in the last one and it was really fun. It was one of the most enjoyable things about Borderlands 2 for me. I went and replayed.
Yeah, that DLC really surprised me. It was good.
Yeah, I was really annoyed by it, but then by the end I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But like Matty said, you're basically dealing like Tiny Tina's the DM, and so she basically narrates like the quests and stories that you do. And it's obviously Tiny Tina's a funny character, so there's a bunch of funny stuff happening. And then at the very end, like all your characters come together and they're like, why are you doing this? And she kind of do we care about spoilers for Borderlands 2?
That game is
like
what,
DLC?
years
Yeah.
and years old.
So
Yeah.
basically, Roland dies in Borderlands 2, and she has a Roland character in the game, and so you're playing as the Borderlands characters, playing the campaign, and so she plays as Roland, and everybody's like, that's kind of like, that's weird. He died, kind of thing. But they don't really question it. And when I was playing the campaign, I was like, why aren't they addressing this? Like, it's so annoying. And then they get to the end, and she basically can't handle the fact that he died, basically, and this was her way of coping with it. So, needless to say, I'm wondering, I never beat Borderlands 3, so I don't know if there's anything like worth going through a D&D session with who you're going to be playing as.
I don't know.
I
played an hour. I played an hour of Borderlands 3, and I was like, I've played this. I was like, I've played this game before, and I loved Borderlands 2.
I love Borderlands, but I could not get into 3 for the life of me.
Too. Yeah, same here.
But that DLC was my favorite, so I'm curious, like, what's gonna be the story behind it, and I don't know. I'm always like, it's always risky going into a Gearbox game, right? Because Randy Pitchford's such a piece of shit. So it's like you get that initial excitement, and then you immediately think of him, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't want to support this." Like,
so, Brittany, do you think that's Roland at the beginning of the trailer? Because they're kind of sketchy about showing his face.
So that's what really bothered me, is it's clearly like a person of color, right? And then the first name that they
Andy
put
Samberg?
is Andy Samberg.
I was like, you better fucking not.
Yeah, I was like, and then I saw Wanda Sykes, and I was like, okay, well, at least they're following up with a person of color, but still, that's a little weird, isn't it?
A little bit.
So when we talk about narrative in this game, Mike actually had a pretty good guess in chat. He said, Tina narrates a looter. He said, my guess, Tina narrates a looter shooter through procedural levels, so it's closer to a Diablo experience and not one that progresses the story. I can see that happening, especially since, she's essentially running a D&D campaign, so this is going to change according to whatever whim she has, or, how she's setting up the game. So I think that's pretty feasible, actually. Was there a release date attached to this? I missed that.
2021.
2021. Okay.
No,
so it's coming out this. Is it coming out this year?
Let me see.
Hold on.
No, I could be wrong. Hold on. Go. Keep talking. I'm looking.
Well, while Brittany looks that up, I'm just continuously surprised and impressed by how the Borderlands IP manages to pull celebrity star power to back its IP and back its products, right? From the movie to the games. It's truly impressive. We've had so many swings in the last 20 years from people trying to really video games are fucking mainstream, but you know what I mean? Like, bring in celebrity power, and it doesn't always work. Mark Wahlberg.
Early 2022.
Okay. Nice. So not even that long, not even that far away. But yeah, I mean, I'm continuously surprised that they can get not just one big name, but a dozen big names signed to that IP.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, clearly they're not letting Randy talk to people, which is to the betterment. So yeah, that game looked cool. It was an interesting way to open up the show.
The movie cast is insanely stacked, by the way, in case anyone
isn't following. And I still can't believe Kevin Hart is playing Roland.
Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis,
Kevin Hart is
all
playing
the casting
Roland.
is amazing except for Roland.
What is
so
that?
Bad.
I just that one I don't understand. It's like
Kevin Hart sucks,
if you want,
fuck that guy.
If you want,
yes, Kevin Hart does fuck.
He sucks. But it's like if you want to cast Roland, dude, The Rock is right there. He's standing right there. That was who I was expecting they were going to cast as Roland, and it was just weird. The next game that got announced was Metal Slug Tactics. So I'm a big fan of the old Metal Slug games. And I was super hyped about this until I found out it was PC only and a roguelike. And then I'm like, oh, well.
And also, John, have you seen the politics of who's backing this game?
No.
Oh, John.
Oh God, what, Zach?
So SNK is hey, let me just pull up you the tweet, because I'd rather just quote someone.
Okay.
So sorry, I'm scrolling. This is good podcast, good radio I'm doing here.
No, it's fine. No, it's leave them in suspense.
One of the things that I believe it was Rami, the Rami on Twitter was talking about earlier, although I see the tweet's deleted. Now I feel reluctant to say anything.
Maybe they were getting abused for it.
SNK had some questionable backers and funders that made people a little bit nervous about tactics about this game. Which I guess my thing is just like I think that the game, Metal Slug is a beloved IP, and people have liked it for a long time. So the tactics angle looks cool. The gameplay trailer looks really cool. I would just encourage people to double check the politics of it. I wish I hadn't come into this half-cocked.
Yeah, so I think what Zach's referring to, I don't have a better source other than Screen Rant, which is a site I would normally not quote. But I assume that what they're writing here is correct. It basically says it's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, the one
Mohammed
that
bin
killed
Salman.
Khashoggi?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Has a majority stake in SNK.
Yes, so all of their games would be.
Yeah.
That happened sometime last year or early this year, I think.
Wait.
Yeah. So
What?
Like that is a fact. That's not speculation. He does own Does he own a majority stake, or does he just own a large
it's
minority
33%.
stake?
It's the largest. Yeah.
He's the largest shareholder.
It's the largest shareholder.
Oh,
Largest single shareholder. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
One of those things where it's like, in the end, you have to make your own decision. These developers obviously are not out there running hits on people, but definitely, like Zach said, just encourage people to, know where the money behind these games and these companies are coming from, and make your own decisions. And just make sure you're educated.
It's like that. It's like that situation with THQ Nordic when they did that fucking insane Q&A on 8chan, right? And a bunch of people were like, rightfully so. Like, I don't blame them for saying I'm not going to give them my money anymore. And Harry Potter, right? On one hand, it's I agree with that stuff, and on the other hand, most of these rank and file devs have nothing to do with any of that. So, I'll just echo what Zach and Jeff said. Think about where your money's going, and if it makes you feel icky, don't do it. Don't compromise your principles for something like that. And but at the same time, if you want to pick it up and enjoy it, there's also that doesn't make you the devil. So that
Cyberpunk.
On the Cyberpunk note, I just again, people are free to disagree. Everyone can approach these situations differently, but I just want to echo what I said with Cyberpunk, which is that I don't feel that it's anyone's responsibility to look after the devs. I sympathize with people who are in these unfortunate situations. As a normal-ass consumer, most of us are not rich. You do not owe it to yourself or anyone else to ensure that developers making these games have money and have healthcare and stuff. They deserve those things, but it's not your responsibility, and you should not feel obligated to purchase consumer products to make up for them being let down by their employers or the companies that own them. That's
100%.
That is my opinion. You could feel sorry for them, but I don't believe you need to be dropping $60 or $80 of your own money to make sure that this poor little dev can do their car payments this month. That ain't your job.
Agreed. 100%.
The companies can afford this. They have millions of dollars.
100%.
Put the pressure on them to do the right thing.
100%. Also, a quick shout out to Khalif Adams in chat. Spawn on me. Khalif, what's up, bud? Yeah, Khalif's a cool guy. Khalif, if anybody wasn't watching our last Trevor Project stream or fundraiser stream, had probably the hypest fucking 2-hour block of anybody. That shit was so cool.
That was really good.
That was fucking.
It was hard. We were after him too. It was hard to follow.
That's a hard act to follow. Yeah, that was a really hard act to follow. Moving right along. So this was actually one of my favorite moments of Summer Games Fest when he got Hideo Kojima on that Zoom call, and I swear to God, he was like, what are you working on now? And he's like, well, I don't want to talk about it right now. And I was like, they're going to end this on Hideo just coming on a Zoom call to bullshit with Jeff, and he's going to get off. And then he did the one more thing, right? And I got real excited because my brain started going all over the place, right? I was like, oh shit, Silent Hills, fucking something's happening. And then it's, we got a weird, I don't know why. What is the main character's name in Death Stranding? I never played it.
Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges. You got Sam Porter Bridges jumping in and out of a cardboard box. I don't understand.
It was a brilliant trailer, honestly. It was probably the best trailer I've ever seen.
I got some serious Metal Gear Solid overtones from that trailer. Obviously.
It's like designed to be accidental. It's designed to be a troll. Yeah, he's clearly fucking with you.
And it's just like, and then before the trailer was over, I was like, it's a Death Stranding PS5 version.
Also,
or a digital fun or deluxe version, or
I don't know if he's mellowing with age, but that was not a 16-minute trailer filled with incomprehensible symbology. So I don't know what's was that even Kojima?
That's
a
solid point.
Two licensed music tracks. Nothing.
It didn't have women in scantily dressed clothes that
dancing in the
needed
rain.
it to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, I never played Death Stranding. It doesn't interest me.
Same.
Is anybody? I know a few of you guys have played it.
Justin did. I remember Justin did.
Yeah,
he liked it.
Are any? But are any of you going to go back to play it again on PS5? Like,
nope.
I haven't really played it.
Oh fuck yeah!
I'm stoked.
Fuck yeah, I am because that game is like the most perfectly designed game to work with like the DualSense features of like the triggers and haptics and stuff. Yeah. And like the whole time last year they were detailing the DualSense stuff, I was just thinking of Death Stranding the whole time. So like an actual native PS5 version, I'm really excited to see how they utilize the controller. Because I think that'll be really neat with like the different ways they could do like holding your backpack, or like water would be like, pushing back against Sam, or like the weight on one side.
The DualSense to gather water from the stream and then shake it to turn it into monster.
Oh,
turn it into monster, yeah.
So
that
like,
sounds fake. Is that a real thing?
Yeah, he has a canteen.
No, it is 100% real.
God, this fucking game! Yeah. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Also, when your
it's literally your health in the game.
Well, no, let's not
when your character takes a shower, they have a full screen ad for Norman Reedus' AMC TV show. I wish that was a joke. I know it sounds like it's a joke. It's not.
The Walking Dead? The Walking Dead?
Yeah, no, he's got a motorcycle
show.
No, Ride with Norman Reedus.
Yeah, Ride with Norman Reedus.
And then you eventually unlock a motorcycle, and one of his passive lines is, "This car is sweet. It should be on Ride with Norman Reedus," which is really weird because you're also playing as. Anyway, look, a lot of people who follow me on Twitter, will know if you've been along long enough that I was not a fan of Death Stranding, but I'm curious that through the lens that the last year and a half have provided us, I'm curious if that game hits differently for me. And when I say hits differently, I mean the moments of isolation, the moments of licensed tracks. I don't think that the actual cutscenes are very good, but some of the vibes are undeniably good. So I'm interested in checking out. Jeff.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I waited for the PC version, which did hit after the pandemic began. So I was playing this. And yeah, it hits fucking hard, man. Yeah. Unfortunately, I only got 5 hours in before the game started crashing nonstop because PC gaming is amazing. Gaming. So I'm excited to move back to PlayStation on the PS5. I think I'll buy it again, assuming it doesn't crash. I loved what I played. I thought the themes of losing our connection with people in society and stuff like that were just obviously couldn't have been intentional at the time, but just the way Metal Gear Solid 2 was very prophetic. I think this just is like, I don't know. I really think people
a year later, and it was
people who
imagine if it would have came out last year.
Ooh. Yeah.
Would it have been successful or not? Like it's interesting to think about.
I guess one of the things that like six out as resident to me that makes me want to recheck it out was like a lot of the things that felt like kind of cringe or kind of goofy or just classic Kojima.
Right.
I guess as somebody who's lost like close family during the pandemic, the idea of doing a mission where you're delivering a body that's like entirely covered where you can't see them, and you're delivering them to like rest, maybe feels more impactful now as like a lived experience, which is like a really sad thing to say. But I'm curious to see how that experience translates now, and I'm excited to see that you take a second swing, Jeff.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised you brought that up because I know I'm not the only one on this podcast, but I lost my grandma last year in the pandemic, and hours before she died, I had to go in basically a hazmat suit. I couldn't even touch her. I had to look through a glass window, and I had just full on face shield and suit and everything like that. And then, they kicked me out because we could only have one person in there. So my dad had to be with her when she passed, and I had to basically wait in this kind of quarantine room. Just like, fuck yeah, man. It's this stuff. It's funny because Division 2 DLC also hit right when the pandemic started, and these things are just, it's weird though. Division was very triggering for me, and Death Stranding was actually cathartic. It wasn't as disturbing. Maybe just because it was a little bit more fantastical or surreal, I think. But yeah, absolutely, it hits different, and it's I don't know. I think I could see why people hate it. I could see why people love it, but I think people should definitely give it a shot if they have the means to, because especially in the world today, yeah, there's some stuff that might make a personal connection for sure.
So
Not to change the subject, but
No.
I played through the original Last of Us last year, and that was hard.
that was hard for me too. Yeah.
Well, the original, like I haven't played 2
Oh,
yet.
2. I thought you were talking about 2. Sorry, my
played-
brain's melting.
No. I played the original Last of Us because in anticipation for 2, and it hit so hard that when 2 came out, I was like, I'm not
can't do
ready.
2 right
Like,
now.
I played like the first hour of The Last of Us 2, and I was like, it's still too soon. Like it's still too real.
This isn't even a narrative spoiler, it's just a set dressing. There's an entire sequence in The Last of Us 2 where you're going through, like, what's essentially a Comic-Con set up PAX hall in Seattle, which again was like happened. Like, it just, and like a lot of people, I mean, SDGC knows, a lot of y'all were at the last PAX event before the pandemic, so like, I mean, it's
Half
just.
of them got corona, most likely.
I got sick at the last PAX before the pandemic.
It wiped half the podcast out.
John.
The first con I went to was PAX West before COVID. Like, fuck.
And so we won't go on. We won't focus on all the games. Jurassic Park Evolution 2. Okay, like I don't.
Oh, we didn't. Can we talk about Sims 4 getting DLC? I know Jeff wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to I'll kick it to you real quick, Britt. I just wanted to bring that up because so the Sims 4 got a new expansion. It's called Cottage Living. I thought it was cool because it kind of clicked with me when I saw this announcement trailer. Maybe I'm off base. It seems to be tapping into that Animal Crossing vibe where you're in a village, you're doing a little bit of farming, you got some animals and stuff like I don't know.
They would make bank if they did a Sims Animal Crossing.
I can. Yeah, absolutely.
The vibes were similar, and Final Fantasy 14. I'm sorry, we didn't make it an episode without talking about Final Fantasy. We almost did it.
What's that, Final Fantasy 6?
Final Fantasy 14, the new expansion, also has a kind of mode where you can do similar types of stuff where you're just farming and kind of living in your own little village.
Oh, they're banking on it in a pandemic. I think that was where like a lot of people shifted. I don't want to say that they specifically did it, but I think they probably focused on it a lot more considering how well Animal Crossing did.
Yeah, so I don't know, Britt. Like, what are your thoughts on it? That was my initial take. Was like, I'm sure this was probably planned before Animal Crossing, but I think it's a great fit. I think people are really into this kind of thing right now.
Well, I mean, like, look how ragey Nintendo fans got over like Animal Crossing being delayed or anything. So it's obviously
Nintendo
like a
fans
high.
get mad about everything. Like
fair, but Pokemon and Animal Crossing are like the two worst, I feel like. And people were real mad about
like
Pokemon fans like
I mean, come on, like Nintendo is my favorite.
Oh my god, the vitriol that series generates.
Seriously, like I'm a Nintendo fan before.
Oh yeah, guys,
else,
we forgot to talk about that Switch Pro announcement.
Oh yeah,
guys,
shit.
we forgot to talk about
dude, I can't
the
believe
Switch Pro
I can't believe
announcement this week.
The Switch Pro has that built-in fucking pizza delivery app. It's incredible, and you could also hold it up to your face and get instant VR. That's what I heard anyway about the review. I didn't watch the reveal myself, but at $699 at market, I think this thing is pretty fairly priced.
But I think it looks fun. I'm excited to play I'm excited to make pawns, and I'm excited to watch my people farm away, make some friends.
I think the cool thing is, like, I don't know, maybe people like this about The Sims, but it actually gives me a lot of anxiety, especially now where just like I'm in a town and people are just always there and they're like coming up to my door and in my business, and I'm like,
like that happens to me all like
Yeah.
like
So-
it's really funny because I made a new town and I made myself and I made RAR and I was gonna that's when you were playing and streaming SDGC and Maddie died, rest his soul.
Oh. Maddie
He got
tried to like fix a light bulb
TV.
socket.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
she
yeah.
did the stereo and got electrocuted and died. So
Sounds
Yeah,
about
yeah.
right.
rest in peace, Maddie.
So I want.
So like RAR would come over to my house all the fucking time just to play my computer. Like he would just come in, say
Typical
hi,
RAR.
and then
Fucking-
fucking like I'm like fix your computer and maybe you wouldn't have to come over all the time, you know?
So there's a couple more games, just a couple more games I want to cover from here before we talk about E3 weekend. And there's really two more big ones. There was a bunch of smaller stuff that got announced, and not to gloss over that stuff, but Call of Duty Season 4. So we had a teaser. There's some new maps and content, zombie mode, Warzone. Okay, like I don't care about that. But I know that Call of Duty, Call of Duty Season 4 is highly anticipated by some people. And then what was funny was Jeff was like, "And how about that new Call of Duty coming this year?" And she's like, "Yep, it's coming. It's coming." And
Never played a Call of Duty game in my life,
there
so
is-
I have no input on.
there is something going on in the with the
this.
development of that new Call of Duty game. That
I
ain't
didn't
good.
even see the announcement.
Yeah, no, I mean, because dude, it was.
Yeah, no, it's
It went real fast. And then there was an assortment of smaller games. Of course, Ryan Reynolds talked about his movie, Salt and Sacrifice, which is a sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, which I enjoyed, but don't necessarily think it needed a sequel. There was some kind of vampiric battle royale game, Blood Hunt, some Among Us cosmetics.
One thing I want to mention really quickly that I thought was really cool. I don't know anyone else. I'm a big fan of that game company. I love Flower, Journey.
Oh, Journey's fantastic.
Yeah, Journey is a fucking incredible game. So they made a game years ago called Sky, which I believe at the time was exclusive to iOS or Apple TV. That's finally coming to traditional consoles, starting with the Switch. I don't know if it's confirmed for anything else. So I don't know. That's really cool. That's a new audience. Bringing it back to the traditional gaming sphere and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to finally
Awesome.
play that.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
We had some Stranger Things content in Smite, which seems like a weird mashup
The
to
Evil
me. But
Dead looked really cool.
Evil Dead does look cool. And that's one of my.
Evil Dead looks. I don't know if it'll be good, but
Oh, it looks entertaining
I'm
as
gonna
shit.
yeah,
It looks
I'm
entertaining
gonna
as
play
shit.
yeah,
that.
no, it looks extremely
13th
entertaining.
with
Yeah.
the budget is
Like-
like
Yeah.
the vibe I got.
Yeah.
So
I am-
is it made by the same studio team that made Friday the 13th or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, and Zach, this looks decidedly higher budget than Friday the 13th.
It looks good. Like
Yeah.
it actually
Like-
looks pretty
That's
good.
when I watched the trailer, I was like, this looks better than any like what are those type of games that
like
those
you
are
know those
called, like, Dead by
4v1
Daylight.
games and
Yeah.
like that. Like this
I was
looks
like,
a
this
lot
looks
better.
like as far as like the animations and the gore and everything, I was like, this looks more realistic.
It does
it's
look-
more smooth than anything
Yeah.
that's out right now.
Yeah, I mean, no shade to like Dead by Daylight, but Dead by Daylight, in more recent years has started to show its age with like really
Right.
janky animations.
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna say it looks super janky.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, as fun as Phasmophobia, for example, is to play with friends, like that game is one of the jankiest things I have ever laid my eyes on.
To be fair, it's a one person dev.
That's true.
One-
That's
one
true.
dude
Yeah,
made
no,
that.
no, I'm not taking. No, I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, it is very clear that there is more money behind Evil Dead than there are things like Dead by Daylight and
There's
Friday the
also
13th.
Bruce Campbell behind Evil Dead.
Right, exactly.
I was gonna say, actually having Bruce Campbell is
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I don't
Bruce
know.
is
I don't
such
care.
a
Like,
slut for Evil Dead shit though. Like you just mentioned it, he's like, I'm fucking in.
I know.
Like, he
I
loves doing that shit.
Army of
Maybe.
Darkness is one of my top 3 movies of all time. So
Yeah.
I mean, I love this shit.
we are absolutely. I keep pushing for it. We're absolutely going to do Army of Darkness on SGC movie night on
Yes.
this card.
Oh,
Yeah.
110%.
fuck yeah, we are.
Yep.
At 110%. In fact, I think that should be the next one. Like I said, Stranger Things and Smite seems like a weird marriage, but okay. We talked about Evil Dead, and then we had Elden Ring. Finally, we and not
whoa,
just
whoa.
what.
What's up, Finn?
Are you really glossing over Tales of Arise? Because I will
Mhm.
fight you.
Oh, we saw a trailer.
Yeah, and all we saw was the trailer of Elden Ring.
Tell us
But we
all
don't-
about
but
Tales
we
of
d-
Arise.
Tell us all about Tales of Arise, Finn.
I'm serious. I want to hear
wait,
about it.
Wait, were you about to say we didn't know anything about Elden Ring? It's a Miyazaki Souls style
Finn,
game
just tell us about
in a different setting.
Finn, tell us about Tales of Arise.
No, it's cool. It's a new Tales game, and I'm very excited about it. It's been a couple years since we've had a Tales game. Looks really fun. Cool. Let's go on to Elden Ring.
When was was there a release date announced to that trailer? Or I'm sorry, not announced. Was there a release date attached to the trailer? September.
What was the I've only played Tales of Xillia and I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't know if I would now because my taste has changed a little bit. What was the last one before Rise, Finn? Was that
God, I want to say it's Berseria.
Berseria.
Yeah.
And isn't it
Yeah.
Vesperia?
That was way before.
That was way
That was the one before Berseria.
No.
Vesperia was the 360 exclusive for a long good while.
That's the one I've never played a Tales game. I bought Vesperia and I did not like it, so I'm a little iffy on Arise. So hopefully,
I heard good things about Berseria. I heard really good things.
If you didn't like Vesperia,
You're
just
not gonna,
skip because that's one of the best of the franchise. And if that didn't do much for you,
I've changed.
I just love the combat of Tales games, and it looks, based on that trailer, it looks like the cheese level of the normal anime plot has been toned down, and they're taking it to a nicer level.
Dude, no, I mean it's Tales, so there's still going to be some anime bullshit.
I didn't say there wasn't. I said toned down, toned down. But the gameplay in that trailer looked absolutely incredible. That's exactly what I wanted in a Tales game. Just a next gen, gorgeous looking game.
That's one of my biggest complaints about JRPGs is that it always has the token like anime characters.
Tales leans into that very hard.
Real hard.
Right. And that's why I kind of got away from JRPGs because there's always one specific type of character for each JRPG. The last two I don't want to say tried to play because there's been others since then, but like Tales of Sonata I couldn't get into because of that, and same with
Eternal
Vesperia.
But
yeah, Eternal Sonata. Just but like you have the cutesy anime girl, you have like the stoic like anime boy, and like I'm tired of those type of characters. Like
I think all of us had I can't speak for everyone. I think all of us had a higher tolerance for that when we were younger.
Yeah.
Because I played Xillia like probably almost 10 years ago now. I don't know if I'd be able to play that now. And I mean Final Fantasy's hit and miss with this stuff, but I agree. Like I think times have changed, the world has changed, and it's like, okay, JRPGs, I love JRPGs to be clear. Like, I like the vibes of them. I like the cozy story. I love Dragon Quest XI because I think it avoided a lot. It had a little bit of that stuff, but I think avoided a lot of it. But like, we don't need to go full on with these. Like Britt said, like we could just grow up a little bit.
I actually do. I agree with Finn on this one. Vesperia is considered to be the best of the Tales games, and if that didn't click for you, Arise.
But that was also when it came out, right? So it's like,
but I mean,
I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tales games are hit or miss for a lot of people. So but
I've always heard what was the one on GameCube? The one. Tales of
Symphonia.
Yeah, I heard that one was like really
That's
good.
another big one because it had 4-player co-op. So the GameCube, you could sit there and play with friends. Each person controlled someone in the party. And that made for a fun experience, but it was still anime bullshit as a video game. And you know what? For me, I'm all in for that because I love me some anime trope bullshit. But
yeah.
You know what?
If I can interrupt,
that's a game that had like
Matty.
I wanted to see my cat.
There it is.
What is that
Hey, buddy.
People.
I couldn't even see him at first until his eyes appeared.
He wouldn't stop yelling at me.
One more time. Come on.
Time. Here he is.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
It looks like he looked. For a minute, I thought that was the Gamork from the Neverending Story. Like, holy dude, those eyes are like still staring at me in my head. Like, Jesus.
Ask Matty, is his name actually Mr. Kitty?
It was. We named him something else that was too long. We didn't want to say it. Like, we never called him it, except to
what was it?
Asked his name. I think it was Morgana. Although we kicked around
That's
a couple
solid
other
name
names.
for a black cat with horrifying eyes.
But like we're not gonna say that every time.
Yeah.
So then we just started calling him Mr. Kitty.
Mr. Kitty.
And
That's
So-
fair.
I mean, the cat's name is Mr. Kitty now, Maddie. You might as well just,
Okay.
you
Oh,
might as well just
absolutely.
admit it.
All hail Mr. Kitty.
He responds to it.
yeah.
So.
You should call him Pumpkin.
Mm-mm.
No?
Pumpkin.
No. Pumpkin.
That's an obscure SDGC reference.
Pumpkin.
Thank you to anyone who understands that.
Pumpkin.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be stuck in my head all day now.
We have a lot of shit still to talk. We haven't even talked about Elden Ring yet.
So let's hop into
Look,
Elden
I
Ring.
said my piece about Tails, so please, thank you.
We can hop into Elden Ring. Coming a lot sooner than I think any of us had anticipated.
Is it?
fucking January.
January,
That's
like
nuts.
holy shit, like that.
For the record, I still think it's going to be delayed, but
And
that's
you,
an ambitious take.
I was gonna say in the same way that Cyberpunk came in April 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I choose to
okay.
believe. I'm going to hold the line on this one to keep the faith. I think it's going to launch in January. There were those rumors a while back that the game had actually been finished, and George R.R. Martin was just trying to work on the story stuff, which of course is a low bar because he's still writing.
I can't fucking get back
Yeah,
to
like
Game of Thrones.
right.
These people are going to kill me.
Exactly. But visually, it looks like a really beautiful. It's taking a step away from Sekiro in the sense that you don't have a character with his own personality. You are creating a character, just like Dark Souls. I got serious, actual Dark Souls vibes from that trailer, and
I mean, I don't want to be dismissive, but when I watched that, I was like, "This is Dark Souls."
I mean, it does look like Dark Souls.
So did they give a 5-second preview of you being able to play as a girl, or was that just me? Was that
I did
another
not see
character?
that. If there was, I did not see that.
I
She
did
had
not see
red
that.
hair.
Oh, no, she's
I think that's a boss.
she's a character in the game.
Oh, okay. So you're just playing as a dude wielding a
Well,
sword
I
like
assume
any
you
other
can make your
Souls
character
game,
like
or
every From game.
got
right?
it.
I mean, I mean, you can roll a man
can
or a
make a
woman.
girl.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry. Where did you see it confirmed that you can there's character creator?
Isn't there a character creator in every From game?
No,
No.
not in Sekiro.
Not Sekiro.
Oh,
Not in
okay. I haven't played
Sekiro.
Sekiro. Sorry.
But no, they actually that was something they mentioned in the trailer itself. That there's
Via our friend Sam Tolbert in chat, according to a press release, you can make your own character. So I assume there'll be gender options.
Okay. Cool.
so that's good. But I mean, Jeff is right. It looks very Dark Soulsy. But it's a big open world. So no more of that. Well, not no more of it, but it's taking that interconnectivity that Dark Souls worlds, like Lordran are known for, and just greatly expanding it. And I noticed that we've got a term finally for the player characters. In the Souls games, they always have this, right? Like in Dark Souls, it was the Chosen Undead. In Dark Souls 2, I can't remember what it was, but in Dark Souls 3, it was the Ashen One. You were the Ashen One. And now in Demon Souls, you were something else. I can't remember. Now in Elden Ring, you are the Tarnished. So the player character is the player character is called the Tarnished.
They're running out of words for
they're
dilapidated
really-
at
yes.
this point, aren't they?
Fear
Them
of the
and they're,
curse, that's what it
sweating
was.
beads. Fuck.
Yeah. So
The next game is they're just gonna call you soiled.
the soil.
Yeah, it's
The dirty.
Happened. The moist.
Oh my god.
Sorry for
Don't
that
raise your
one.
hand, just hop in, man.
No, I just because it's Elden Ring tangentially related, so I wanted to wait until more people got to go. Just keep me on deck.
Okay, we'll keep you on deck. It looks like there's co-op is back. You can summon up to I think it was 3 additional players in your
4
game.
players, yeah.
4, yeah, 3
No,
additional.
4 total. You plus 3.
Right. And
It was me.
Can I ruin the discussion real quick?
you can.
Please.
Are you
Is
gonna say
there any
moist again?
chance? Is there any chance there'll be difficulty options or deciders?
I don't think so. I
So-
hope there
so-
is.
So Jeff, no difficulty deciders, but the horse can double jump.
I
Oh,
wrote
wow.
that in my notebook.
That's something.
Not bad. No, that's
At
good.
this
No, I
point-
mean,
At this
I mean,
point, I
that's
don't think
something.
I don't think From will ever do difficulty because it'll feel like I think they've like dug their heels in too deep
Yeah,
so that
they're
this
too
is
far
their
gone at this point.
Well, I mean,
even
I also don't think they'll do difficulty because it'll make the capital G gamers angry, and we can't have
That's
that.
my-
So
yeah, they're
Yeah.
not. They're just not going to.
Just
Ugh.
to be
Yeah.
clear, like I love From games, but I'm never gonna play another one unless they make it more accessible.
They should
I
make it
played
more
Demon-
accessible.
Demon Souls for the accessibility, but I was really disappointed that Blue Point. I think they outright said that they actually didn't want to implement that. So I mean, I don't want to stir up a thing. I respect a developer's right to make the game they want, but I also have the right to not buy those games. So
And it gets complicated, right? Because we saw like within a week, I think less time, from Sekiro's release date on PC that people had found a way to add mods on the Steam version that allows you to do things like give yourself unlimited health, just invulnerability outright, like super powerful attacks. Like we saw all of these ways in which players felt enabled to tweak the modifications of a game, and it gets frustrating when it's like accessibility gets put in the hands of modders, right? That doesn't feel right.
Right.
And it's tough, right? Especially, yeah. I don't think you're gonna get it. And it's disappointing.
I don't think you will either, and I agree. It is disappointing. These games should all have. I mean, and not just like not just easy mode, but also like just I feel like the Souls games, as much as I love them, are just super inaccessible to begin with. They've never done well in, or they've never done a very good job in including options for people with numerous amounts of disabilities. And I'm hoping to see that change with Elden Ring, but I also I'm not really holding my breath on it either.
I'm also one that doesn't expect difficulty levels as much as I would like them, but like something like Returnal is a game that is very difficult, but like it actually has a pretty decent accessibility menu so that people can customize it to be able to just physically play the game easier. And like at least just seeing that stuff in a From game would be a huge step forward, even if it was like even if it wasn't, full difficulty levels or something.
But honestly, though, like I'm still very excited for the game. It's coming a lot, like fucking January. Like I didn't even think we were going to get a release window. Like Brit, go ahead. You look like you were going to say something.
No.
Okay.
I was just gonna say good luck. Good luck with that release date.
Yeah, no
we'll
way.
see. We'll see. But hey, made a lot of people happy today. Yeah, Elden Ring, man. Fucking like, not a whole lot to say about it yet. We saw actual gameplay today. Again, looks very Souls-like, but very pretty. I know that they're basing this has a very distinct. It's supposed to have a very distinct Norse vibe to it, which I think is pretty cool. I feel like that's that Norse theme, like aside from what is very clearly meant to be like a call out to Yggdrasil, kind of underplayed. Like I didn't get, aside from that, I didn't get a ton of super overt Norse themes. Like some of the armor was a little Icelandish, but other than that, I didn't get a bunch of that Norse stuff they were talking about. But it's still like it's Miyazaki. He knows what he's doing, and of course, nobody does creature creation, in my opinion, like From Software. So I just hope they do the right thing with accessibility.
Maddie, what you got?
Maddie had something to say real quick.
Maddie, please go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so just a couple of like little details from the trailer that I like picked out and wrote down, just that I thought would be interesting. One of the things that a insider had been talking about for months was like roaming bosses, and I think we saw a couple of them. The guy with like
I didn't know
the
that
big rock guy with a bell dangling under him, and the carriage guy. They looked like probably bosses that are like roaming around. You can probably like pick out where you want to fight them instead of them being locked into the arena. And there at one point, the main character is sitting in front of a campfire, and that same person had said that there was like kind of a free-form camping system, not like super deep, but like make your own bonfires in the overworld instead of finding them and them being set in one place.
That's cool.
Also Werewolf Night.
Werewolf Night.
Werewolf Night.
Yeah, that's God, I can't fucking wait for this game. I had no idea about the roaming bosses, Maddie. Like that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. Also, like one of the things they said was that like the world state will change at various points. So like those roaming bosses might not be there, or they might be in a different place entirely at various points.
That's
in the
cool.
game.
That's cool. Well, and
Yeah.
that makes sense with a From Software game too, right? Like they're gonna try to keep you on their toes or on your toes. So every time Brittany's door just opens and closes behind her, like I know it's beignet, but it still freaks me out every single time.
He's such a butthole.
So what's that?
I was just gonna say that I think it's really cool, and even though I don't think the January date will stick, I do think it puts us on a path to hear more about the game more often, right? As press starts to spin up. Like I feel like if we don't hear about a delay by like September, we're gonna start hitting like the terminal velocity of marketing.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So yeah, I'm excited to hear more. I did like the boss that had the Bell Dick. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, Bell Dick was really cool.
Yeah.
That
What?
was that. Yeah, no, dude, there was a boss
Yeah.
with a bell
It
for.
had a
It
physical-
was
it
on
had a-
its stomach. It wasn't its dick.
I mean, I
It
thought it was.
his dick.
It was very clearly his dick. Like I thought it was his
Listen.
dick. Like
I'm gonna need a full breakdown and analysis. of
Dick
it.
Watch
it
2022.
it was.
Forgive
his-
me for
it was
this, but
his- It was his ding dong.
I have to ask.
See what I did there?
Forgive me, but I have to ask. Was it a dinner bell?
It was.
I felt like
It was more of like a Liberty Bell kind of bell. Like
Yeah.
it was like a big bell. It was a big bell, like enormous
Big
bell.
bell.
Like
Huge.
the size of that bell was incredible. Like I've never seen a bell that big before. Finn.
Okay.
What was it like the? Oh, Finn, go
No,
ahead.
go. Was it what?
I was just gonna make a joke about how was it like
Make that joke, fam. Nothing
the
helps
end
humor
of-
like it.
at the end of Dante. The end of Dante's Inferno, where you
Huh.
fight.
I thought it was
Satan's
gonna be a
dick.
Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. When he's just got that big dong swinging around. Yeah. Finn, go ahead,
All right.
bud.
Video games are
Video-
hard. I don't know why
No, so-
anyone would argue differently.
No, we're
So
talking.
I know From and Miyazaki have pretty much made their wheelhouse out of like fantasy games with all the Souls games are basically very steeped in fantasy. Am I the only one that is really hoping for him to merge his two passions, which is the Dark Souls game style, but with From Software's Armored Core
I would
futuristic
love-
deck
No,
building?
more
Like,
Armor Core.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I'm all about
Bring
some
back
more
Armored Core. Make
Bring
it a
back Armored
Souls
Core.
game. I don't care. Like, make it so that instead of like upgrading your character's stats, you are unlocking parts
Yeah.
for your mech, and then you can customize your mech and play a Dark Souls style game in the future. Like, why are we letting that languish when the two would marry each other so well?
Finn, I dream of a world not where just monsters have dicks, but also the mechs have dicks.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mechs.
I know.
I mean, that's Zone of the
I mean,
Enders.
the
Just
best-
like-
yes, Zone of the Enders.
That's
Zone of
Zone
the
of the
Enders.
Enders.
Zone of the Enders do have like, and of course that's a Kojima joint. So of course the mecha in those games have enormous dongs.
Because
because why not?
It's the
right?
cockpit.
it's the cockpit.
It's the cockpit. The robots absolutely fuck in
You
Zone
think
of the
it's a
Enders.
joke?
We still have 10 minutes left. We're
All
supposed
right,
to wait
so-
till closer to the end.
Okay, so-
before we go on the full.
So with 10
Alex,
minutes left, now that
and-
we've covered Elden Ring and Robot Cocks and Beldix,
Jesus Christ.
we so the last 10 minutes, E3 weekend, of course, is upon us. And there's a lot going to happen this weekend, and of course we have the Nintendo presentation. I think it's on next Wednesday at noon. I don't know why they fucking insist on doing this shit in the middle of the day. In the middle of the
Is
workday.
it Wednesday or
In the
Tuesday? I thought it was Tuesday.
I think
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. It's the
Nintendo-
middle of a workday. Like, what the fuck?
Nintendo
Yeah,
loves
I-
Nintendo's
to
the only
test-
one who does this.
Nintendo loves to test my ability to not
Squad?
be caught watching something on my work computer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take off of work early so I can stream it because there's no way I'm not streaming that. But like as far as E3 goes, we've done some predictions here. So I want to talk about what we hope we want to see, or what we hope to see, what we want to see, what we think we'll see, just in general.
John, we spent like 20 minutes talking about Nintendo predictions last week.
I don't mean I'm talking about in
I
general.
just A3 in general. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, just E3 in general.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Your hopes and dreams.
Yeah,
No
talk
matter-
about your hopes and dreams. Like for example, at Ubisoft, I think we're going to see Mario plus Rabbids 2. I think the writing's on the wall for that one. I saw today that they reduced the price. The Ubisoft account was tweeting out that Mario plus Rabbids is now like $5 on the eShop. And I think that's marketing spin for an announcement for Mario plus Rabbids 2 on Saturday. It makes sense. I mean, that game sold incredibly well. It was much better than it had literally any right to be. And yeah, I think it's time. I think Mario plus Rabbids 2 is a safe fucking bet for Ubisoft. I also do not think that we're going to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 because I think that game is canceled.
Finn, what are you
Dunzo.
excited for, buddy?
We skipped almost all of the Day of the Dev stuff because we ran out of time, but I just want to give a shout out to Axiom Verge 2 for looking so
It
fucking
looks
good.
real good. I
God
love
damn
it.
it.
Yeah.
Was
And,
there anything new on that, Finn?
It was our first actual look at it.
Okay,
we never
cool.
really got to
It was
see
just
it
a
in action
trailer.
before.
It was just a trailer before that.
just a
like,
trailer.
yeah, with like
But-
And it's kind of got overhauled visuals, right, compared to
Yes.
the first game.
So like it's basically it's flirting with Super
Super
Nintendo
Nintendo
graphics
stuff,
instead
yeah.
of Nintendo graphics.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
cool.
it's
I mean, like to anybody, like to your point, like Axiom Verge 2 is great, but I would also encourage anybody who maybe got busy in the afternoon and that's a
the
choice
whole
of
Day of the
word.
Devs thing.
Day of the Devs was
amazing.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
people should go watch your recap of it to watch more indie highlights. Yeah, I thought Day of the Devs was sweet, and it's cool to see that Double Fine gets to keep doing that sort of weird collaboration now that they're still under Microsoft's umbrella.
Actually, I'm posting in a chat real quick for people. Rock Paper Shotgun did a really good recap of
Sweet.
everything that was announced. So I'm going to post it in chat. Y'all can go, if you don't have time to watch it, you can read about the great games that were announced.
So here's a question I've got for Zachary. Halo Infinite. We know we'll see it.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it'll definitely be there.
Mhm.
When do we play it? When is this thing going to release?
So here's my thing. I think a lot of people understandably are looking forward to a November 15th release date because that would coincide with the 20th anniversary of the original game.
Oh.
I think that's a possibility, but I also think that Xbox might have a few more things that they want to talk about this year, and you might actually see a little bit sooner. I wouldn't be shocked if you see that game out in September, as early as September, but I don't expect to play it until late July, similar to how we saw Gears of War 5 kind of do a late July and then September release date. I wouldn't be shocked to see the same thing there.
Without outing certain people, we've had hints dropped in our Discord. I believe I think from multiple places we've heard the September date.
And
I
also
think they wanna-
September has a strong connection to Halo.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah, like September has
Microsoft wants to
traditionally
get
kind
out
of
there.
been Halo month.
And remember, it was supposed to be out last year, so September isn't crazy. It still had a lot of extra time to cook in the oven, and I think it's going to be ready by then.
Yeah, I think the thing to keep an eye on is look at the ways that Microsoft has a complicated palette this year, and look at the ways that, even though that it's not coming out on their platform, games like Deathloop are releasing in the middle of September, which is technically in Microsoft's portfolio. And do you want to position your studios, even though they're on separate platforms, to compete against each other when they share a PC atmosphere? It's a little bit complicated. But John, I want to quickly circle back to your other point on broader E3. I'm gonna be really quick here.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man.
Ubisoft. I think you're gonna see them double down on free to play games, and you're gonna see more offerings that are in the realm of your third person, which is to say that I think that we will see Ghost Recon stuff. I think that we will see Division stuff that are in the free to play space. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe not at this E3, but maybe later in the summer we hear a little bit more about how Siege plans to go free to play next year. Looking at Microsoft, I think that we'll see big expansions within the studios that they already have. We'll probably hear about how some of their games as a service are expanding. I think that we will obviously see the long rumored Forza Horizon 5 make a debut. I don't think it will look that much next gen because it's still running on old tech. As most of the team is doubled down on Fable and also helping turn 10 on the next Motorsport. But I am curious to see what that looks like, and I'm curious to see how much of a deep dive we get on Starfield. I still think it's late next year now, so we'll see what that looks like.
And that's exclusive, of course, right, Zach? That's an Xbox.
Yeah, it'll and on PC. But I do think we'll see Arcane's next game, Project Omen. leaning into the vampire space, which will be cool. So see the Dishonored beats vampire thing, and I'm just holding my breath for to see some more Wolfenstein. And the last thing I'll say, I like the Mario versus Rabbids idea, but I wouldn't be shocked if we wait to see a lot of publishers hold until Nintendo officially confirms their stronger hardware, just because it's an opportunity to show your game looking a little bit sharper. So we'll see. I think Mario Rabbids is a sure thing for this year, though.
Tomorrow,
So
man.
we'll
Like
see.
I can confirm the Switch Pro is being announced tomorrow, 100%. Like
John,
it's
Oh yeah,
John.
definitely.
100.
Right there with
We
Metroid
know that
Prime
means
Trilogy.
nothing.
Absolutely.
Coming from you, right?
It is 110% being announced tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got a question for Matty, actually. Maddie, you know, Zach just gave us a really good rundown, but he glossed over something, and I want to ask you about it. Where is Splinter Cell? Maddie,
Oh.
why
6 feet under.
is that where's
On
Sam
Netflix.
Fisher?
Zach just did an actual spit take.
Where is
Well, on Netflix's Geeked Week thing with their animated show tomorrow, and then nowhere else.
poor
Old-
Sam?
Apparently, gonna be in some free to play Tom
God.
Clancy crossover.
Battle
thing.
Cap.
That game, I'm interested in, literally just because of that. Because I'm like, I'll take whatever scraps I can get.
It is.
Hey, don't forget we are getting a Splinter Cell mainline iteration through Oculus. Oculus has signed an exclusive Splinter Cell game, so
It's called
Cool.
Splinter Cell because they've splintered it off into a bunch of different other games.
yeah. Look, we've been sucked.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to seize control.
Please
of
do,
this
Jeff.
podcast. I think Breakpoint, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, is actually a fucking awesome game. They've had a lot of good post-release support. They've done a ton of work to reduce the homogenous nature with the Ubisoft's games, and there's a lot of flexibility now in terms of the loot shit, which you can entirely disable. But they've added some really good difficulty sliders. You can really tailor the game to how you want to play it. And on the topic of Splinter Cell and Sam Fisher, I played through all of Breakpoint with the Sam Fisher skin, and it honestly fucking ruled. It felt a lot like not a Splinter Cell game, but like it kind of satisfied that itch. Stealthing through enemy bases and stuff like that. As my boy, like I don't know. If you
Yeah.
could find it on sale, I think there's some stuff I missed from Wildlands, but it's a really unique game, and it's gotten a little bit more polished, and I believe it got a 60 FPS update
Good.
for new consoles as well. So,
It
like,
did.
yeah, I don't know. I respect that Ubisoft always continues to support and doesn't give up on their games, and I think Breakpoint had a really bad launch, and it really got overlooked, but I think there's a lot of stuff to love in that game. So, I don't know. That's just like a quick shout out to that from, I guess, like E3 specifically. What I'm excited for, I'm excited for Starfield. I love Bethesda Game Studio games. Again, I know I'm butting heads with Justin on this one because I know he just doesn't care.
Hey,
but
Maddie's here. Maddie's here to back you up.
the thing,
Yeah.
the thing
You got-
I love about Bethesda games is they have problems. They are janky. But I really
But
feel
they're
like I'm
getting
making
ladders.
my own. I really feel like I make my own story in these games and my own adventure. And I don't know. There's nothing else like they're out there to me, like Skyrim or Fallout 4. And I'm really excited to see what they do next. And I really do believe, even though we've heard it before, that this is going to be a significant jump in terms of
I think so
technology
too.
and stuff like that. I think that a lot of the limitations they've been struggling with that have held their games back, I think they're going to find ways around them. So I don't know. I'm really, really excited to see what they do next. So shout out to Todd.
Todd, of course, all hail Todd. I'll say that if you're excited about if you like Yoko Taro, you should be excited about Babylon's Fall. I'll say that. Trust me on this one. Like, you should be really excited about Babylon's Fall if you like Yoko Taro, and Nier. Like you really, really need to be looking out for this one. Of course, I actually don't think we're going to see Final Fantasy 16 at Square Enix's conference. I think
it gets its own.
and I think it's going to be Sony that does it, Finn. I think it's going to be a Sony thing.
It'll be a state of play.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it'll be soon. Like I think they're going to do it in June. But Sony's kind of marching to the beat of its own drum right now. Obviously, I think we're going to see that Guardians of the Galaxy game. I hope we do, from Eidos. That sounds interesting to me. I'm really excited about knowing more about that. And the only other thing I'll say is that I think, I don't think we're gonna look. We know the Switch Pro is real, but I don't think we're gonna see it before E3. Like, I think that's done. I think a bunch of those games are going to be running on Switch Pro hardware, but I don't think we'll actually see it. And I think Nintendo's big game is going to be Super Mario Party 2. That's what I think, or at least that's going to be there. I think adding online, like suddenly out of fucking nowhere, years later, adding online finally to Super Mario Party, like right before E3. That's a test run to see how it works.
Okay, yeah, I can see how you think of that as a test run. I feel like that's almost an indicative of them being like, fuck it.
No, I considered that at first, but I honestly, like, people have been asking for it for so long.
I'd be hyped.
But not so. People have been asking for online in Super Mario Party for a long time, and they finally do it. And I think the timing of it is really interesting. If you do it right before E3, you get people talking about Super Mario Party again. You get people playing it again. You open it up to a whole new audience, because you can play it online now. I can't believe they didn't do that last year. But if their plan is to announce Super Mario Party 2 at E3, then I think that's a good move, and I think that's probably why they did it.
I'm still holding out hope for a Mario Kart game.
Me too. I think it's definitely possible. Finn's shaking his head though.
I don't think so.
Finn, why you gotta do this to me?
I mean,
look, I'm agreeing with you. I want it to happen. I'm just not allowing myself to be hurt again.
Of course, there's a lot of smoke around a Final Fantasy 1 to 6 collection. I expect that to be announced at Square Enix's show.
John, I have to ask.
What's that?
Metroid Prime Trilogy. Where's that at, buddy?
It's not there.
Can I wait?
Where is it though? Where is it?
I have no fucking idea. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere at Nintendo. Zach, please go ahead.
I just want to say, speaking of Metroid Prime Trilogy, I want people to know I joined SDGC probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
Here we go.
I love it.
And John, and I remember talking with John. This was Christmas 3 or 4 years ago, and John was like, I've heard a lot of things about this game, and I've heard it's near final, and I think they're just waiting for the right moment to drop it. So I want people to know that in that time, I have graduated.
Can you just finish the rest of the show with your John voice?
I just need people to know that I have finished college. I have bought a house. I have gotten married in the time that John has told me that there is a Metroid Prime trilogy that's finished and waiting to be released.
In John's defense, it's a very Nintendo-ass thing to actually have this game finished and just be like,
yeah.
No,
so
I'm just gonna leave it.
I firmly believe it was finished, but then Metroid Prime 4's development got absolutely fucked. And you don't really, in Metroid Prime Trilogy was part of a build up to Metroid Prime 4, and it's going to be released as strategically to build up hype and support and awareness of Metroid Prime 4. And it's just a meme at this point, but I feel like once we know when Metroid Prime 4 is going to exist, that's when Metroid Prime Trilogy will appear.
I agree.
Listen, I am just excited for the big blowout that Nintendo's going to do for Metroid's 35th anniversary.
Absolutely. It's going to be all
because
all
we all
Metroid,
know that's coming, and they're going to pull out all the stuff.
It's going to be a Metroid Direct for Nintendo this year. I expect to see a 2D Metroid, and that's it. Like, they don't give a shit about Metroid. Let's be honest.
We still haven't. It's what's this year? Is it Zelda's anniversary?
It's Zelda's
Zelda and Metroid.
Zelda and Donkey Kong.
Zelda and Metroid are having their 35th anniversaries.
We still don't have a big Zelda event, right?
We don't. Not yet.
I still think it's incredibly funny that Epic wanted to pull out all the stops to bring Samus to Smash, and then Nintendo said no.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, nope. Which tells you all you need to know.
It's free marketing.
Yeah,
just take it.
That tells you.
Make money.
That tells you all you need to know about where Nintendo stands with Metroid. We are fucking lucky.
I love how defeated John sounds. Like that's what's getting me right now.
Well, no,
fuck it.
That's just the reality of the situation.
Soul is crushed.
That's just that. Yeah, everybody loves it when my soul is crushed, but that's just the reality of the situation.
That's not true.
Like,
I know it's not true. But no, that's the reality, right? Is like we're lucky we're getting Metroid Prime 4. We're lucky that game was just not out. But when they restarted it, we are lucky Nintendo was like, oh fuck it, like I mean, it's just yeah. But Justin, you missed one. It's also Donkey Kong's 35th anniversary as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one too.
Nobody cares about Donkey Kong except for Ron. I'm
Bullshit. Oh,
sorry.
you better take that
Yeah,
back.
I love
No,
Donkey Kong.
no,
I
Dude.
love
Donkey Kong?
fucking-
Okay, there's a lot
Donkey
more
Kong will get more attention.
Then Metroid.
Donkey Kong will get more attention than
Yes, it
Metroid
will.
does for its 35th
Yeah.
anniversary from Nintendo. I guarantee
I
that.
think we're gonna see a reveal of a 3D Donkey Kong. That's what I think.
Jeff, he just backs up.
What's the problem, Jeff?
I don't know. Like,
What's wrong?
I
Buddy?
never heard anyone talk about Donkey Kong, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Whoa, I love Donkey Kong."
I love Donkey. Dude, Tropical Freeze
No
is the
one
greatest
fucking
2D.
talks about Donkey Kong.
Dude, Tropical
Oh
Freeze
my
is the greatest
God.
2D platformer of all
I
time.
love Tropical Freeze. It's one of the few Switch games I own.
I'm just
Nobody
saying.
talks about Donkey Kong. I'm sorry. This caught me off guard. I did not know that in the year of 2021
It's the
we're
year
still.
of Kong, all right?
I've
We
got-
got the movie. It's
Fuck.
time for the game.
So we
I'm
are
sorry. I take it all back.
we are definitely
know?
past our end point here, but I've got I'm having a good time. So I've got one more question for Zach and Matty specifically because they're our beloved guests. Guys,
Oh, I'm crying.
Street Fighter 6, it's time, right?
Dog, I'm ready to talk about Killer Instinct.
Oh shit, Killer
All
Instinct.
right? I'm not ready to talk about fucking.
Are you ready?
Street Fighter.
I'm ready for Primal Rage. I want Bloody Roar to come back. Bloody Roar was
That
the fucking
makes
shit.
one of us.
Bloody Roar.
No, John, Power Stone.
I'm so Capcom is
Power
doing their own thing this year at E3, and I
Yeah.
would love a fucking Power.
Listen, I said I wanted to stream it. You better be there.
Oh, of course, dude, it's fucking Power Stone, of course. Like even if
It
it's just a
better be.
fucking remaster of the original Power Stone, that's all I give a shit about at this point.
Yep.
Just give me fucking
Mhm.
Power Stone back. And
Baby.
also Square Enix is working with, I can't remember the name of the developer, but they're working with a developer to remake one of their older classic titles. Nobody knows what it is. And I've got a theory that it's Parasite Eve.
What about Dino Crisis?
That's not a Square Enix title. That's a
You're right.
That's a Capcom
All right,
title.
look. First of all, Square
Shut up.
Enix, bring back Bushido Blade. You fucking cowards.
No.
Yes.
never
Bushido
gonna
Blade was
Silence.
amazing.
Do you ever? Wait.
real quick, I never get a chance to bring up Dino Crisis. I just want to say shout out to Jaw
Poor
Muncher.
Jaw.
Jaw Buncher.
Poor
Yeah.
Jaw.
Poor Jaw.
Anyone who knows him, that guy, I hope the best for him. But I think dinosaurs are big now. Like there's like a bunch of stupid Jurassic Park movies that keep making $1 billion.
Jeff, dinosaurs are always big, bud. Most of them are huge.
No, but like they kind of went away for a little bit. It's funny. Side note: my aunt in Ontario, who I've only seen 3 times in my life because we never really travel out there, emailed me the other day, and she said, "Hi Jeff, I don't know if you're still into dinosaurs. This is from when I was like 5."
That was good.
And then she sent me a random article about some new dinosaur discovered in Australia.
And then like it's close family, so it's be like, yeah, thanks. This is sick.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Summary: Dino Crisis would still be a big hit. I think the Resident Evil re-releases prove that people still love those kind of like survival horror type games, and the Jurassic Park movies are big. And I said this years ago, but like a Dino Crisis game would actually do pretty well right now.
Stop spending resources on fucking shitty Resident Evil multiplayer that nobody's asking
Yes,
for.
please.
Put that money.
I love
but
those
wait,
multiplayer games.
He's
All
not
right.
wrong. He's not
all right,
wrong.
but wait, Maddie. I feel like John asked you about
Tell
Street
me
Fighter.
serious.
He goes to the one person that's gonna fucking back him up. He's like, all right, but Maddie.
Maddie,
I'll back him up.
Maddie, really quick. Street Fighter. What are they gonna do more Street Fighter?
I don't know shit
Fucking
about Street
I
Fighter.
don't know, Street Fighter.
Well, whatever. I'm just asking the questions. I'm just
I
asking
mean,
the questions.
they did put some.
I'm gonna
I mean,
say no.
I mean, I get. Look, Tim Sweeney got Street Fighter characters this year. I think that's all the Street Fighter we're getting.
All right, how about this? Is it time? Halo X Gears of War, the fighting game. Is it time, Zach? Is
No.
Are we finally gonna get it? Conker's Bad Fur Day remastered. Who's on board for that? Are they
I
Xbox
don't-
exclusive?
Again?
I don't know if it
Didn't they
aligns-
already
They
do
already
that
did.
one?
Did they already do that?
I mean it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean on the original Xbox. Yeah.
Oh,
it was just
okay.
the N64 game. Yeah. No, I don't think Microsoft's current values align with Conquer necessarily. No, none of that. In all seriousness, I have no more to say on this topic.
Xbox
I'm excited.
Live on Switch.
I mean, Xbox Live is
or Game Pass on
dead.
Switch. Game Pass on Switch.
Not without it being a hybrid subscription. I mean, okay, so one quick, like, this is gonna be a quick theory, and then y'all want to go to we're 10 minutes over this time.
Who
And
cares?
but what I'll say really quickly is that Microsoft did a big announcement today where they talked about looking to bring new types of subscription tiers within the Game Pass model. People who've been following it know they already have a $10 and $15 deal. Like, what more could you add here? I think it's worth considering that for Microsoft to bring Game Pass to other platforms beyond televisions, PC and Xbox consoles, you would need to have tighter limitations on what those games include, right? Like, third parties are not going to let you put their or if I'm Nintendo, I don't want you to be putting Capcom and Square Enix and Ubisoft games through cloud onto my Nintendo platform, because that cuts me out as a person. So I think that if Game Pass comes to a platform like Nintendo Switch, we're gonna see it be like a Microsoft first party only version, which is $5 a month maybe. But even then,
also with that, like, anything other than Microsoft first party stuff would be incredibly expensive to license to be able to be used on that many devices. Like, that is a thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, streaming deals have so many restrictions on where things can be and when and for how long, that, like, the more platforms that Game Pass comes to, and the more platforms that streaming stuff comes to, the more we're going to see prices go up. We're going to see things get more confusing, at least just from the, business side of things, with what can be where and for how long and stuff. So, I mean, obviously Microsoft has full control over their first party, and they're very okay with, putting it on Game Pass. But beyond that, it gets much astronomically more difficult as these platforms expand.
totally. I mean, it would be cool to play Halo Infinite on Xbox Series X servers, but playing it on a Nintendo Switch, I think that'd be really cool. But I don't know if that's in the near future for anybody, but it could be cool.
No.
All right.
Yeah, probably
so
not.
I am exhausted, and I gotta go to bed. So we are gonna wrap this up here.
I'm staying up for Ratchet. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Final Fantasy
Is
VII.
John a little tired? Is it past his bedtime?
I want to stay up for Final Fantasy VII, but I gotta wake up for work in the morning.
Oh, someone's
No,
not a real
John, you're sick.
gamer.
You're sick because your son ate ranch and a strawberry, and it literally make you.
I can't fucking believe he did that. Like, I can't fucking believe he did that.
I can.
That's so
Fucking champ.
fucking disgusting.
Oh my god,
That's my
legend
boy
of our
right
time.
there.
Yeah, I know
He
he's
learned
listening
well
right now.
from our
He's listening,
session
literally.
of Among Us.
Look,
He's listening
I
right
don't
now,
even
son.
like ranch,
Son, that's
and I
disgusting.
respect that video so much. I respect that video
I
because
like the confidence.
it was the most middle finger he could give his dad without actually getting in trouble for doing it. Like, it was just like, hey,
Oh,
dad.
right?
Oh.
He kept it going. I'm so fucking proud.
That was
And
that
then he
horrible.
had the audacity to speak the truth about Chicago deep dish garbage pizza.
All right, we
Agreed.
are going to
Whoa.
end. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Jeff, it's bad, man. It's a bad situation, dude.
I mean, I'm a fan of New York style and Neapolitan, all that stuff, but like
Thin
deep dish
crust
is
is
also
the
good.
best.
deep dish is fucking
You make
incredible.
Deep dish, they're
Deep
both
dish is just
good.
a pie. Like, it's just a
Deep
like
dish is a
what's
shitty
wrong with
lasagna.
pies?
Pies are
Here's-
fucking. Oh god,
Yeah,
we're talking
like,
about
yeah, I don't
good.
understand
You
it.
should
Like, they're
absolutely
a
just
dessert.
sign
Good.
off in the middle of
Brittany, does it
Kill
taste
it.
good?
Kill the
Does it
pizza
taste good?
arguing. Just
Take us
no,
offline.
just no outro tonight. We're just yelling about
No.
pizza.
So
Chicago pizza.
Deep
It's
dish
gross.
good.
Chicago pizza's fine, I
No.
guess,
Good.
but
So I want to give a shout out.
it doesn't.
I want to give a shout out to SDGC for having Maddie and I on tonight. It's been a blast.
Aw.
Oh,
You can-
it was fun,
you
you
can-
guys.
You can find Maddie's tweets at MaddieQuest on Twitter. You can find Maddie's writing at MaddieQuest. You can find me on Twitter at Zach R. Robertson, and then you can follow Maddie and I's podcast at Matchpoint Pod. Maddie, what else am I forgetting about our podcast? Well, I self-plug really quick before John takes us offline
You're
for pizza
forgetting
chat.
To remind people that we'll be covering E3 this weekend.
We'll be covering E3 this weekend.
Yep.
We'll be covering it.
We will also be covering it. We're all going to be
SDGC
covering
will be
it.
covering it. Like I said at the top of the show, SDGC is your meal. As you're consuming E3, you are with the SDGC crew. When you're ready for your digestif, you're ready to kind of get some final takes, and all of that sort of thing. You come to Matchpoint Pod and you get a full meal through the SDGC and Matchpoint combination.
I agree.
So, but anyway, this weekend is cool and people get really excited for E3. Stay hydrated, eat some snacks, go outside and touch some grass between shows. Do all that sort of thing.
The SDGC meal, by the way, is deep dish.
When is the match point Final Fantasy VI breakdown? I've been waiting patiently.
I don't think I've ever beat a final.
All right, I'm taking this shit offline.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer, Zach.
We're done. We're done. We will tweet out our E3 streaming schedule tomorrow. Take care of each other. Remember, kindness costs nothing. And also, it's pizza time. Good night.